Hey everybody, welcome back to our channel. So today is Friday, August 11th, and welcome back to another Friday fill-in. I think it's going to be better for me to try to film these videos on Friday because Friday is going to be our new family day. If I can get the videos filmed right after I get off work, then the kids and I are going to do our fun family activity. I'll be able to get the video edited in the evening and try to get it posted by Saturday morning. I think that's going to work. I'm going to try it for a little while and see how it goes. But anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us. So I just wanted to fill you in on a couple things that are going on in our life this week. The kids are still not back, and I'm feeling some type of way. I'm very excited that the children have been spending this last month with their father's family. I was speaking to one of the aunts today, and she said, well, one aunt in Maryland had a week. Their aunt in North Carolina had 2 weeks. And then she's the aunt in Florida, and she's having a week. So the kids really have been doing a lot. They've been from Maryland to Florida and just traveled, and they have friends. One of my husband's aunts does not have any children. She's never had children. She's never been married. So what she does is she takes our kids, and there's another cousin who she has 2 girls as well. So she takes our kids to do things with them. Now, she never would do things with them when they were babies. She said, I don't do diapers. And then she has a very good friend, Miss Kathy, who they get together. She brings her nieces and nephews and her granddaughter usually, and they'll all find a destination they want to go to, and they'll all, Miss Kathy will rent a space, and Aunt Pam will rent a space, and then the kids can play back and forth with each other, but they always plan something for them to do every day. And she has done that faithfully for the last couple of years. This is the longest the kids have stayed away, but they're older. Before they got to be, around 6, 7, 8 and 13, they didn't go as much. They would go for about a week, maybe 2 if we were lucky. But now that they're getting older and they don't need mom so much, they can go and do a lot more and stay a lot longer. I say that knowing that it's not Alana's favorite to be away from home. She loves to be with mom. I don't know that she exactly loves to be at home, but she loves to be with mom. But Jackson, he's like, okay, I'm going to see y'all when I get back. He'll pack his bag and be gone. My sister went to D.C. last year, and was it last year, maybe year before? I can't remember. Either last year or year before, she had to work. And she was going to take both the kids because they were going to stay with the aunt in Maryland. Well, both the kids were gung-ho to go. They were ready, and the last day before they were going to leave, Alana says, well, I don't think I'm going to leave. I don't want mom to be alone. And I'm like, no, mom, it's fine. I'm good. You don't have to worry about mom. I'm very fine. And she did not go. But Jackson was like, okay, I'm going to see y'all when I get back. And if you watched our family vlog of being in Maryland, Uncle Derek and his wife and his mom and Uncle Ricky all met my sister at her hotel, and they picked up Jackson, and Jackson was there for 2 weeks by himself without mom. Didn't have any problems being there. He just loved it. He is not one of those that has to be under me all the time, where Alana is a little bit more a mommy's girl. And I say that, and I want to be careful how I say this next piece. Being a single parent, it's been tough at times. And sometimes my kids are my closest confidants. And sometimes I have a tendency maybe to say things that they shouldn't hear. Oh, I'm lonely, or I wish I could, I wish I had things to do, or, I'm here with the kids and dad is not here with the kids. And I have to be really careful not to say things knowing that my kids are grabbing everything I'm saying and internalizing this, because Alana's biggest fear is that I'm going to be alone all of my life. And she doesn't realize I have friends, I've got family, my sister lives very close. And if I needed to go out, I could. I am very much a homebody, although there are times when I do like to go places. But I don't want my children to be stifled in their exploration and their culture seeking and different things because they've heard mom say, oh, I'm lonely, and they don't want to leave me. Therefore, they miss out on opportunities. So I'm trying to get to the point where I am really encouraging them, if this is what you want to do. Now, I don't force them to go anywhere. If they don't want to go, then I'm not forcing them. But I will always try to tell them, hey, you know, this is what's going to happen if you go, and this is what's going to happen if you don't, and that you get to make that choice. So anyway, I wanted to encourage the single parents, just, you know, be careful about open conversations, especially around your kids. Even when you think they're not listening, they're listening, because those kids become your champions. You know, my son Jackson and Alana have already determined that I will never live by myself. My sister and I, my sister is their favorite person in life, and they argue over who's going to take us when we get old. Yeah, mom's going to come live with me. No, mom's going to live at my house. I think they just going to live together, or maybe they'll have side-by-side houses so we could stay over here one night and then stay over here the other night. But they are never going to let us be alone. My older two children, they have not decided to fight over my person. They are perfectly fine letting the little two take care of me. And I really believe it's because I was in two separate places. My kids are almost like two different sets of kids. They have the same father, but we had kids over here, and then we had kids like almost 20 years apart. And so it's like, wow, you know, I have older children and I have younger children. When the older children were young, their dad was still at home, so they didn't see all of the stuff and, you know, the divorce and separation and all that. They were just never privy to all of that. The younger kids, of course, grew up that being their reality. So again, just be very careful about open conversations around your children, because they will internalize, and then a lot of times kids will put their life on hold to try to be your champion, and you're the parent. I'm the mom, and I tell them all the time, I'm the mom. Don't worry, mom is good. I'm fine. I have to tell Alana that a lot. Alana would never leave me if I didn't make her. Sometimes, like if I didn't encourage her. No, it's okay. You do your thing. Mom's going to be right here. Don't worry. I'm good. So anyway, the kids are not back, but I am picking them up on Sunday. So one of the cousins who did not go to Florida is going to meet me halfway. It's about a 3-hour drive there and a 3-hour drive back. So we're going to meet about an hour and a half for both of us, and so I'll get the kids on Sunday. They are ready to come home. They are tired. They were at Disney till after 12 in the night. Alana called me, and I didn't even remember the phone ringing, but somehow I answered the phone, and I'm like, hello, you know, I don't even know who it is, and she's like, Mom, are you sleeping? No, I'm not. So this is after 12 p.m. midnight, and I'm like, I gotta go to work in the morning. So needless to say, she's like, okay, I'll call you in the morning. Bye. The dog has not been sleeping well. She did not sleep most of the night. She paced the floor, and she really was just uncomfortable. I don't know if, you know, she sensed something in the area. When she hears something, she will perk up, but she usually will bark if she hears something to let anybody know, don't roll up. But last night, she just seemed to be very discontented in her spirit, and she would not sleep. So I didn't sleep very much, and then I had to work this morning. So she will be thankful when her humans get home. I will be thankful when her humans get home, and we will get back to life as we know it. So speaking of the children, and I'm still talking about them, homeschool. Homeschool is coming up in September. Normally, my kids start back when I start back teaching. However, because they have had such a long homeschool year, especially Alana, Jackson was done in June. Alana went all the way out till just about the middle of July. So I'm going to test them EOGs next week. Wednesday is a test day. Wednesday is going to be a school day. And then I am going to start them school after Labor Day. Normally, again, we start on the 28th when mom starts school, but I'm just going to give them that extra 4 days, 4, 5, 9 days, however many it is between the 28th and the 5th. and then we'll start on the 5th. That'll be their first day of school. With that being said, I still have not decided on a curriculum for the kids. We have been using Switched On Schoolhouse for the last 3 years. It's an Alpha and Omega product, and I like it. It's all loaded onto their computer. It grades for me. It does their lesson plan for me. All I have to do is go in and set up my parameters. I set up my school, what day we start, what day we finish, any days off in between. So it puts my calendar together for me. And then I load all my subjects. I have to do the CD-ROM load. I load all my subjects in for both kids. And then, of course, they work every day's lessons. Well, I could do that again this year with the CDs loading and unloading, or I could use another Alpha and Omega product called Monarch, and Monarch has no CD loads because everything is online. So here's the thing, I'm thinking I want to give Monarch a try, but I don't want to start something and not finish it. I'm very familiar with Switched On Schoolhouse. I'm familiar with the program. I'm familiar with how to load all the the software. I'm familiar how to work throughout the program, tech support, all of that. And I've learned that over the last 3 years. So I'm not sure if I want to give that up. And loading their stuff allows us to take their computer. If we have to be gone for a reason, I can take their computers. We can load their backpacks. They can have school anywhere. My assumption, not knowing all the basics, I've been doing a little bit of research. My assumption, not knowing all the basics, is that because Monarch is an internet platform, wherever we have access to internet, the kids can have school. But I don't want to get to a point where something happens here at home and the internet is out for a week or whatever and we can't have school. I don't want to be so internet dependent that we can't have school. With that being said, if I open up the internet, then I'm going to have to get an internet filter, and that way I can monitor where the kids have access. Right now my kids have zero access to the internet unless I give them access. Not even my older children know my internet password, because they might let it slip and little kids will hear it and they'll be logging on their stuff. No. So and I know some people say, well, that's a lot of control. I just have to protect my children. That's my job as the parent, and we have done well so far. Nobody's had any issues. If they need to get on the internet, then we are all in the same space. I know what they're doing or not doing, and then I can regulate things. So I'm undecided. Give me your thoughts. Go with the internet platform or go with the disk installation platform. Let me know what you think. Price wise, they're comparable. If I get the brand new curriculum that are internet discs, that are CD discs, it'll be about $830 for 2 kids. If I do just the internet platform, it's going to be about $629. And the thing about Monarch is that platform can run for 18 months. What you pay is called your subscription. It runs for 18 months. So if for some reason you don't finish up in your, I do a 10-month calendar year, it will run for 8 more months. So I don't usually try to run my kids behind, but just in case something were to happen, that's kind of a safety net. Of course, with Switched On Schoolhouse, once you load your curriculum onto your computer, you can use it, for as long as you have the curriculum. So anyway, we're trying to decide. I'm trying to decide. I've talked to my sister, I've talked to my daughter, and I've talked to a friend of mine just to see what their thoughts were. And I'm interested in knowing what you think. You may not be a homeschool parent, but if you are a homeschool parent, or if you had to homeschool, what would you choose? So let me know that. Let's see. Okay, with Weight Watchers. So for the last 2 weeks, I was doing the cabbage soup diet. And the reason that I started the cabbage soup, not this week, but last week, was because I had been on the road for about 3 weeks. I mean, literally on the road for about 3 weeks, eating on the road. And of course, I did the grocery haul where I tried to buy things that I would have in my room. And I did all of that, and I felt just bloated. I had gained about 5 pounds. I apologize. I think I'm having an allergy. I think allergies are acting up. And so I was at 216 for 2 weeks ago. I was at 216. I had been at 211, and then I was at 216. So I said, okay, let me do the cabbage soup cleanse, because I just needed to get some traction, get some things moving with my digestion, and nothing was helping. So I did the cabbage soup last week very, very faithfully. I mean, letter by letter every single day. And I finished up the cabbage soup at 208 point something. Let me see. I'll find the exact numbers. I finished up last week at 209.2. 209.2. So that was a loss of 3, 5, 6, 7.6 pounds. And then when I started it again on Monday, well, I weighed on Tuesday, I was at 207.4. Today, I'm going to write this down in here. I am at 208.4. So I gained a pound back from being at 207.4, which was the lowest I've been since I've been doing Weight Watchers. I started Weight Watchers at 225. And so I was down to 207.4. And today when I weighed this morning, I was at 208.4. Now, this may be too much information, but in the whole week, I'm not sure that I have been digestive. I'm going to leave it at that. So there's not anything happening. I'm doing a tea right now to see if that'll help. I do have to increase my water. I do know that. But the supplement that I take that usually helps with my digestion, I'm out of that. And of course, because I'm trying to just keep to my budget, I'm not spending any money until I get paid again. So it'll be a couple more weeks before I can buy the supplement. It lasts me about 90 days. But that's not in the budget for this next 2 weeks. So I'm sticking to that. I'm just going to try the tea a little bit, increase my water. And I have been walking the dog, staying pretty active. I have not worked out. I have not worked out in almost a month. And that's because I was on the road for 3 weeks. Then last week, it was just a recovery week. And this week, I've worked Teacher Academy. We started Monday, and we just got off today. And so for anybody who is a teacher, you know how it is. That first couple weeks back to school, you are war slam out. Your schedule's off. You're getting up earlier. You're staying up later working on plans and all these things you have to do. And so I just told my trainer, I said, I cannot make it this week. It's just not going to work. But next week, because the kids will be back and we'll be going to Taekwondo, I'm just 5 minutes from the dojang, so it makes very good sense for me to just go to work out while I'm dropping them off at Taekwondo. So I plan to start my workouts Tuesday of next week again, just to get back into where I was. So I said all that to say, when I started cabbage soup, I was 216. Today I'm 208.4. So I've gone down not quite 8 pounds, so just a little bit under 8 pounds. This week was a maintain week for me, only because my son was doing it this week. So I told him, buddy, mom will do it with you. And I tried to encourage him over this week. And so we have tomorrow is day 6. And then Sunday is day 7. And then we'll be done. And then Monday, I'm going back to counting smart points. So I feel good about that progress. Even having not worked out, I feel good to be where I am. So I'm thankful. With that, let me update you on my budget. So I have walked everybody through my monthly budget sheet and let you all know what the bottom line was. Honestly, to try to be true to form, sometimes I used to carry this, which is my, my envelopes. I would carry it out of the house if I knew I was going to go by a store or do something, or I might have needed to pick something up. I have not carried this out of the house at all in the month of August. I have just not taken it out, and it's because I'm trying to really stick to my budget. So for the month of August, I have had, this was this week. Let me show you this week. And my goal for this week was cash only purchases, no use of my debit card, and track all money spent. If you can see, there are 1, 2, and 3 no spend days. So I have had, and actually Thursday was a no spend day as well. Today was the only day this week that I actually spent money. And I'll tell you where I spent it. I needed to get prescriptions. Before the kids left for Florida, I knew that they were going to run out of their meds because they were gone for literally a whole month. But there was no Walgreens in the town where their aunt lived. It was another 20 miles away. So we just were going to make it okay through, if they missed a day or two, we would be okay. We wanted to make it okay for the kids not to necessarily have their meds for 2 or 3 days. So by the time they get home, they would need a re-up on their medication. So I went ahead today and ordered 2 for me, my 2 blood pressure meds I needed. Alana needed, I think, 2 allergy meds. No, she needed an allergy med, and she needed her, the med to regulate her insulin, and then Jackson needed his allergy meds. So that was 5 medications that I had to buy. So my total when I went through, because one of my prescriptions is a 3-month prescription. They have to put it together for 3 months. And that was $15. Altogether, all 5 medicines were $25. So I was like, ooh, that was a little bit more than I had planned to spend on my debit card. I just didn't plan to spend that. So I said, let me check my benefits card, because I wasn't sure if I'd use all my money. And we re-up on benefits in September. So all the money I had loaded on for the year will re-up again in September. So I scanned the benefits card, and $14 and some change came off. And I was like, well, praise the Lord. So technically, I spent less than $11 at the pharmacy. So for Friday, I'm going to put pharmacy, and I'm going to put $10. It was $10 and some change. I can't remember the change right off, but I'll look at my receipt in a second. And then when I went to Walmart, and if you have not watched my bonus grocery haul video, you will understand why I was at Walmart today. I spent $5.99. So all in all, I spent about $16 and some change, not quite $17. And that was for all week long. That, everybody, that's huge for me, because I like to buy things. I do. I see something. I was walking by the little onesies in Walmart, and I saw these cute little red and pink ones, and I kept thinking, hey, I know I didn't give somebody's baby something. I need to go over here and look at this stuff, because I know there's a new baby somewhere. And I said, nope, no ma'am, you're going out of this store, and you're not going to buy one thing that is not on your list or you purpose money for ahead of time. And I'm lucky to have moved out of that store in obedience. And let me tell you why. So I had forgotten about, I don't know if I mentioned it on my budget video, but I have to have my termite bond done, re-upped again for this next year. They do them year to year. So the inspection comes around August the 16th. Well, it's $120. I did not plan for $120 to go for that. I don't have $120 to go to that. I was expecting some money today to help with kids' curriculum. It did not come. And I'm like, okay, Lord, you already know. You already know. I'm not even arguing over it anymore. I'm done. It comes, it comes. It doesn't, it doesn't. It's nothing I can do to make people, force people. I'm done fighting that battle. So on Sunday last week, I was coming home. No, it was, let me see. I'll tell you exactly when it was. Okay, it was Monday. I was coming home, driving home in the rain. It has been raining here all week. I was driving home in the rain, trying to focus so I would not get into a wreck because there was water everywhere. And I was coming off of the back road, and I just prayed to God, and I said, Lord, you already know the need I have. Now, where's the miracle? That was the prayer. Lord, you know the need I have. Where's the miracle? Because this $120 has to come from somewhere, because I have to have my termite inspection done. If I don't, they're not responsible for any damage if I get termites with this company that I use, because I have to keep it current. Well, that was the prayer on Monday. I went to work on Tuesday. Didn't worry about it no more. I know God to be a provider. I don't know him to be anything else that has ever disappointed me. Has he always answered the prayers I've prayed? No. But he's always answered the prayers that needed answering affirmatively, that would help my family along. So I'm in tech camp. I'm in Teacher Academy camp. And then on Wednesday, we were at a different school. We were actually at my home school on Wednesday. Monday and Tuesday, we were at a different school on the other end of the county. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we were at my home school. So I'm at my school. I'm sitting in my group. We've already broken off because I'm a classroom facilitator. And we're working. And my phone dings. I'm working. What is the problem, people? What is the problem? And I get a text message that says, check your account for the $120 for the termite inspection. And I'm like, what? Wait, what? Because the text message, the person it came from, I'm like, what? Excuse me? What you mean? Check. So I'm sitting, I'm texting back. What? Wait, who? Why? Why? There is no why. You prayed. There was a need. God reached out and touched somebody else's heart to meet it. That's it. Don't question it where it came from. It's irrelevant where it came from. But I had not spoken to that person about my need. I hadn't spoken to my sister about I always tell my sister everything. She wasn't the person who texted me. And I look in my account and the money is in there for my termite inspection. That's God. That's enough to make you do ugly lady cry. I mean, that's enough really to just be like, God, wow. Because sometimes I think people are unsure when I say things, and I probably shouldn't care, but I do, because I always want to represent the Lord right. I want to represent God correctly. But God has always provided for my family. God has always made a way out of no way. God has always made sure we had more than what we could use. God has always done it. That's the only God I know. And it doesn't mean I wouldn't serve God if he didn't do those things, because I just love God. He loved me enough to die. I love him enough to serve. But he takes care of me. I won a raffle today at work. It was a $10 gift certificate to the grocery store. God always takes care of me. Well, it was only $10. $10 more than I had. And there was a few things I needed to get. He always meets my need. Period. So I was like, I got to share this because it is so God. It's so good, but it's so God. And again, God meets me with the needs I have for my family. The majority of my needs, other than peace, which I have needed peace, has been financial. Single mom, 2 kids, 2 older kids, trying to make it, trying to buy this house, trying to, live within my means, trying to be a help to other people in my community. And God knows that it's going to take finances in order for me to do the things I need to do. And so he comes through for me. I've always known him to come through for me. So, budget update. So far, I have paid every bill that is due, with the exception of Taekwondo camp, which is next week, and I'm waiting for the money to come in for that. I have Taekwondo tournament, which is coming up the week after next. Well, it's actually in 2 weeks, and I'm waiting for the money to come in for that. And then I have to get school curriculum. I have to pay one bill, my student loan, and my cell phone. I'll pay that today. But other than that, all the bills are paid for the month. Now, with that being said, I'm waiting for Dad to send some money for the kids. He sent money the first week of the month, but I sent that to the aunts so the kids would have spending money at Disney. So I just took tithe off of that and sent that right back. I just put that in one of the accounts for the kids, and so they would have a little bit of souvenir money. Last week, when money came in, I've now put that money aside for curriculum, and if any more comes in, I'll put that aside for curriculum. But with that being said, I'm still short about $200. So I may have to purchase the curriculum later when I get paid, and how I'm going to do one curriculum at least. And what I'm going to do there is, because I worked a week of Teacher Academy, it's going to average out to about $1,000 pre-tax. Then I went to a workshop the 23rd of July through the 27th, and I got a gas reimbursement coming, which is going to be about $240. And then for some reason, they still haven't paid me for my reimbursement from California. So that's going to be another $200 and some. So I have about $1,500 that's coming in on the 31st. So if I have to push off the curriculum till the 31st, I can pay for it then, because we're not starting school till the 5th. With that also being, I can pay for expedited shipping if I need to, if I get the CDs. With that also being said, I did 2 workshops when I was at my summer conference. And so I'm still waiting to be paid from those 2. So about $1,600 I'm waiting to be paid. I really need to take an allergy pill. It's really bothering my nose. But so it seems like we're going to come out to the good. Any money left over after that, I'm going to chunk into my savings account. Let me say this, because I need to fix this. Someone mentioned to me, somebody left me a comment that says a fully funded emergency fund is $1,000 in your emergency fund and your savings, and then 3 to 6 months expenses. And that's absolutely right. So I wanted to clarify, when I said I have a fully funded emergency fund, what I mean to say is baby step number 1 is taken care of. Dave Ramsey's system is based on 7 baby steps. Baby step number 1 is having $1,000 in your emergency fund. So I have completed baby step number 1 is what I should have said. I got my verbiage wrong. Fully funded means $1,000. You've paid off your debt snowball, and you have 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses in a savings account. I do not have that. I have baby step number 1, and I'm working on my debt snowball. So just to make that clarification, baby step number 1 is $1,000 in your emergency fund, and I do have that. And I don't want to tap anything into that. So if I have to push out to the end of the month to get curriculum, then I'll do that with no problem. Let's see what else I wanted to share. Okay, I want to finish with this last thing and say this. If you have joined us on Thursday nights, thank you so much for joining us. We are honored to host you. When I say we, I mean the ladies who meet regularly. There are several of us who meet all the time, and we encourage each other. We pray for one another. We text message each other, and just I'm thinking about you. Here's a scripture and all that. So last night, of course, we are reading the book Friends for Keeps by Deborah White Smith. This is a really good book. It's real small. I have a placeholder in there, but it's a small book. And one of the ladies last week, she said, you know what, this is a really good book. And I said, yes, ma'am, it really, really is. But last night we were talking about solving conflicts and surviving conflicts. And we know that being friends with anybody, your friendship is going to be tested. And it's going to be, you know, there's going to be issues. There are going to be things that you don't agree on. There's going to be, let's agree to disagree, or whatever else. So this chapter really, I mean, there was some strong emotion behind this chapter. I cried over a friendship that used to be real solid and strong, and someone came in and tried to rip that friendship apart, and it did not survive. It did not hold up well. We are still friends, but we are not friends like we were. Like, I got you and you got me. I know I have my part, but I'm not necessarily sure if the other person has me. So that was a rift that hurt me. It hurt me, and some of the other ladies were saying as well, they were dealing with some other things. But we got towards the end of the chapter. This is in chapter 5. This was a quote that I want to share with everybody. It says, if the mainspring of your service is love for Jesus, you can serve men although they treat you as a doormat. That's from Oswald Chambers, My Utmost to His Highest. And the thing about that is this: we serve other people because we love the Lord. We follow His example in everything that we do. Jesus came and He said, I came to serve, not to be served. He went around and did good things for people. He washed the feet of His disciples. He healed the sick and raised the dead, and He did things for people. So what we do in service to people is not necessarily for the person. Of course, they're going to benefit from it, but it's in service to Jesus. And the reason I say that is this as well. Let me find the other verse. I want to find the right verse. Okay, this is it. O Father of mercies, grant that I may look on the defects of my neighbor as if they were my own, that I may conceal and be grieved for them, and that making thy love to us, O bless Jesus, the pattern of my love to them, I may above all things endeavor to promote their eternal welfare. And that was from John Wesley, from John Wesley's prayer journals. This is what made so much impact on my life. And if you can't see the tears, they're in there, trust me. O blessed Jesus, the pattern of my love to them. O blessed Jesus, the pattern of my love to them. See, we can't love fully without loving through Jesus. Jesus is the pattern of how we love each other. I can't love, because my love might be conditional, even though I say it's not conditional, but it could be. It can be based on the fact of whether I had a good day today or not. It could be based on the fact of whether I don't feel good. It could be based on the fact of whether you borrowed money from me and you didn't give me the money back. It could be based on the fact that you talk bad about my kids, and I don't want you to talk bad about my soul. You want to talk about my kids, I'm going to talk about your kids. Jesus, oh blessed Jesus, the pattern of my love for them. Jesus is the pattern of love. The Bible says, for the joy that was set before him, he endured the cross. I don't know any other person, human Jesus, that could tell you that being beat and bruised and all ridiculed, everything, to count any of that joy. But for the joy, him having eternal life in heaven with his Father, he endured the cross so that we could have eternal life in heaven with his Father. When we look at our friends, it is up to us to not love them how we know how to love them. It is up to us to love them how we see him love them. I remember this, and I'm going to just read a scripture and just share this one last thing. This is about my ex-husband. We were in a really bad place. This was way before we got divorced. We were in a really bad place. I think, let me see. Oh, we didn't have the little kids then. We didn't have little kids. We just had the two older kids who were the little kids. And my oldest son was very little. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. The dog and the pig. And we had a disagreement, and it was bad. He did not want to go to church, and I was all about in the church and loving the Lord. It just wasn't, that wasn't his decision. It wasn't his decision at that time, and I got it, but I wasn't satisfied with the decision that he made. And so I was on my way. We had just moved to just outside of the Charlotte area, and I had started going to a multicultural church. I had met these people in the mall. They were out there singing. It was during Christmas. They were singing, and I was like, oh my goodness, these people, there's black people and white people. I need to go find, there's no separation or segregation. There's just people together. And I was like, okay, I need to go find out. And so I went, and I had been visiting the church, and lovely, lovely people. All the ones that I met were lovely people. It wasn't a really big church. It was, it's a fairly small church, but they just loved the Lord. And I remember they used to have these monthly get-togethers or monthly family activities. And so all the families would get together, and we were at a skating rink this one particular night. And so here's me taking my kids to the family activity without my husband, but I was taking the family. And I was very serious with him. And I said to him as I'm walking out to go to my church activity, when I come back, have your stuff packed. As I go to my church activity, I'm telling my husband at the time, when I come back, I'm going to this church thing to get my Jesus on. But when I get back, you better have your stuff packed up, because I'm done. And I remember going to the activity, taking my kids, and I sat in the corner. I just sat like this because I didn't know anybody. I'd only been visiting there for just a few times. And I just sat like this, and, people just conversing, and this person was talking to that person. And they were not intentionally leaving me out at all, but I was just like. And so finally I got up on my way to leave, and I said, okay, everybody, nice to meet everybody. See you guys, on Sunday. And I began to walk myself out of the door. And two ladies came behind me. I remember this very, very, very clearly. One lady ends up being one of my spiritual mothers. Her name was Pastor Sheila. She wasn't a pastor at the time. She was just, a sister in the church. Her name was Pastor Sheila. And there was another lady named Miss Barbara. Miss Barbara was not a pastor. She was not titled a pastor, but she could perform pastoral duties in that church specific. They followed me out into the foyer, and they said, we don't really know you, but we feel like there's something wrong. And do you mind if we pray for you? And I said, no, I don't mind. And we stood in the foyer of the skating rink, and those ladies prayed for me. They didn't shout heaven down. Nobody fell out on the floor. We didn't, run around the skating rink. None of that. They just prayed a very, very, very sincere prayer. And after they prayed that prayer, the Holy Spirit said to me, love your husband. He didn't say love your husband. He said, love him, my husband, like I love him. That was all God said to me. Love him like I love him. And here's me. Now, I done told this man to have his stuff gone when I, to be ready, because I'm not even playing games with you. And God immediately came and arrested my spirit and told me, love him like I love him. And from that moment forward, I could love it was instant. It was immediate. I didn't fight God. I didn't say, no, he done me wrong. I didn't justify my behavior. I was like, Lord, I'm so sorry. I'm going to do what you asked me to do. But here's how God loves us. And this is from 1 Corinthians chapter 13. And I'm reading out of the Message Bible. And I'm going to start at verse 3. Well, let me start at verse 1, and I'm going to go down. If I speak with human eloquence and angelic ecstasy but don't love, I'm nothing but the creaking of a rusty gate. If I speak God's word with no power, revealing all his mysteries and making everything plain as day, And if I have faith to say to this mountain, jump, and it jumps, but I don't love, I'm nothing. If I give everything I own to the poor and even go to the stake to be burned as a martyr, but I don't love, I've gotten nowhere. So no matter what I say, what I believe, and what I do, I'm bankrupt without love. Love never gives up. Love cares more for others than for self. Love doesn't want what it doesn't have. Love doesn't strut, doesn't have a swelled head, doesn't force itself on others, isn't always me first, doesn't fly off the handle, doesn't keep score of the sins of others, doesn't revel with others when others grovel, takes pleasure in the flowering of truth, puts up with anything, trusts God always, always looks for the best, never looks back, but keeps going to the end. Love never dies. Inspired speech will be over someday. Praying in tongues will end, but understanding will reach its limits. We know only a portion of the truth, and what we say about God is always incomplete. But when the complete arrives, our incompletes will be canceled. We have to love our family, our friends, neighbors, like God loved them. The example of how we love each other, whether we know each other or not. And I'm not saying just open yourself up to strangers. I do understand that it's 2017 and you have to be discerning. But our friends and our family and the people that we say we love, we must love them like Jesus loved them. We must have patience and kindness and long suffering and be willing to put them in front of ourselves. That's the example that Jesus gave to us. So with that, thank you so much for stopping by our channel for this Friday fill-in. If you like this video and chat videos in general, just give it a thumbs up. Say, hey, I like this chat video. Leave us a comment. That's our favorite thing. I know I've been slow on answering comments, but Teacher Academy has been kicking my butt this week. But if you leave us a comment, I promise at some point I will answer it. If you're new to our channel, we'd love to keep you as a part of our YouTube community. Hit that red subscribe button. That way you become a part of us. And also hit the bell so you never miss an upload for us. I'm so honored that the Lord allows me to come into your home week after week, and you continue to allow me to do it. So thank you so much for making me a better me. Thank you so much for allowing me to be stretched and allowing Jesus to give me a voice. Thank you so much for spending time with us. Thank you for loving us. Thank you for having grace with us. And thank you so much for not judging me. And thank you so much for loving my kids and my dog. Anyway, thank you. We love having you around. Come back again, and until we chat, bye.